Good evening and welcome to our August desserts and discussion. We're in the kitchen at the temple, and tonight we're going to see Rob and Way make two amazing cookies because I got to sample them first. So I'm going to switch cameras and we will start over in the kitchen. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. All right, so our first cookie is called the New Moon Butter Cookie, and it is specifically for Rosh Hashanah. And it's a lovely butter cookie. The recipe is in the Jewish Festival Cooking book, which has some great recipes. So Ryan's gonna take a picture of that and have it so you can, if somebody wanted to order it.
They're in the chat, the two recipes and a picture of the book.
Yes. So we're starting this with some sliced almonds. We're going to put them in the food processor. This whole recipe is really so easy. It's all made in the food processor. So it might be a little noisy for a minute. Maybe not too noisy. We're going to pulverize the almonds till they're really, really fine. I would not use almond flour. You really want the almond pieces in there. So to that, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. We're going to have cold butter, which we're going to have 2 sticks of that. So all I do is cut that into small chunks and add that. You definitely want to cut your butter up good so that it can incorporate easily. You have big chunks, sometimes it's really hard to mix in with all the other ingredients. So, cut your butter once, cut it twice, and then cut it into pieces. We are adding our powdered sugar, which is 3/4 cup. We're using confectioner sugar. We are adding about 3½ ounces of milk. Now you probably could substitute an alternate dairy. I hadn't tried that, but I don't see why it would be a problem to use either almond milk or oat milk. We're doing our teaspoon of cinnamon. Now you probably could add more things to this at the end if you chose to. You probably could put chocolate chips, you probably could put dried raisins at the very end. We're doing the recipe the way it's written. We're going to put 2 teaspoons. Now you can use vanilla extract, but I'm using vanilla paste, which I really like a lot. I like vanilla paste much better than I like vanilla extract, and I'll show that there. Hello.
Hi, come on in.
We're going to add flour now. I don't know. Oh, you already started? Sorry. You want to scoop your flour in, and then you want to sweep it across. You never want to tap your flour. So we're adding 2 3/4 cups to that. So you want to scoop and sweep. And then we are going to mix this with the pulse. And we're going to just keep doing this till the dough comes together, and you'll be able to tell when it does. Can you see it beating around like that? So that's how you know it's done. So that is beyond an easy cookie recipe.
This is the New Moon cookie. For those that are just joining us, New Moon butter cookie. The recipe is in the chat. Both recipes.
So we are going to take the dough. But this dough you need to be able to make earlier in the day. It does need to stay in the refrigerator for about at least an hour. will be a little sticky. If you try to roll it now, it would stick to everything. So you want to just bring the dough together, and you want to just wrap it in plastic. That is the whole difficulty of the dough. So we're going to put this dough in the refrigerator. And through the magic of television, voila, we have a dough that's already cold. I'm going to get on the back side here so everybody can see me. All right.
So I guess it's a good thing the power didn't go out in the kitchen today, huh?
Yes, it's a very good thing. We were concerned. We don't have any water, but we do have power.
Oh, jeez.
So it's a good thing we're not going to wash our dishes at the end. We're just going to take them home.
I actually thought that the water did not go out today. That's what I was told, but maybe not.
You can use a knife, bench scraper, whatever you like. I tend to like the bench scraper, and I'm just gonna take this and cut it into 4 pieces. And then I just cut it into pieces and then roll it into balls. I try and just cut it into pieces that are all about similar size. I checked these, when I made these cookies earlier, they make about 56 cookies. So, one recipe really does make a lot. And they're not like a very, very sweet cookie, which I particularly like. I don't know. I'm sure that if somebody needed it to be sweeter, you could add chocolate chips again, like I said, or raisins. So you're going to take the pieces and you're going to roll them into balls. Very difficult part here. You want to try and make them about the same size if you can. This is not an exact recipe, so however you make them is perfect. Get these guys going. The fun thing about this is, it's new moon, new beginning of the new year, Rosh Hashanah. We celebrate all of that, so it's a perfect cookie to have at the end of a dinner, or a dairy dinner, obviously. And I think they are a really nice addition to the end of a meal. So if you wanted to be really fancy, you could make these new moon cookies. You could dip them in chocolate, half of them in chocolate. So once you have them rolled out into balls, we're just going to roll them into a log. You can get your kids to help. These are like beyond simple. Like, they would love doing this. And then there's your crescent. So it's super difficult.
So Robin, I recently learned that I'm gluten sensitive.
Yes.
So is there anything you can do? Like if I used a different type of flour?
I think that today's flour mixes are pretty good. I think that you could get one of the King Arthur or one of the other flour alternatives. I don't know. I think like adding almond flour to this would just be too much because you already have the almonds in there. So
Right.
Flour alternatives should be fine. I don't know what the consistency of that would be. You would have to try that out and see whether the dough got firm enough. But I think that these are great. I don't know about substituting alternate butters. I mean, I have been dairy free for a lot of years, and
Right.
I use a lot of alternate butters for all sorts of cooking. And I even have used tofu as like to make lasagna as a ricotta. So, and that's worked really great. I would try it out. I'm not sure the consistency, so I wouldn't want to say, oh yeah, go do that. But
Right.
I would try it. I mean, it's made in a food processor, so you could actually half the recipe and try 2 or 3 different flours and see how that
Right.
goes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Like I said, I didn't even cut all of these, and we'll maybe our guest visitor would like to take some cookie dough home with her, and
Sure.
so basically we're just making half moons. That's all we're doing. We've only used a quarter of it, and you can see how they've come out. Sorry.
Yeah.
These are going to bake in the oven for about 15 minutes until they are a little bit golden, and you want to take them out and let them rest. I'm going to go out of camera for 1 second. So this is what they look like when they're done. And so you have 2 choices. You can roll them in powdered sugar, or you can sprinkle them in powdered sugar, and or you can just choose to just dip them in chocolate. So these are really easy once they cool. Just mix them in powdered sugar, or we could sprinkle them, and I think they're delicious. They're a really great butter cookie. So that's as simple as this recipe is. It does take a little bit of time. I did make the dough earlier today and put it in the fridge so that we would have it ready for us. You certainly could make the dough and put it in the freezer and bring it out again. I would not think that there would be a problem with any of the dough. So people in the studio audience would like to try it. Welcome.
How many people are in the studio audience as opposed to on Zoom?
Just one.
Oh, okay.
Brian
And-
included in one.
I will
Sorry.
take-
Right, I don't have any napkins. That's okay. So,
Right, would you like one?
At the moment, I'm trying to get the recipe. And
Robin, does that sugar stick whether they're warm or not?
I'm sorry.
Does the powdered sugar stay on whether they're warm or not?
You don't want it. I learned the hard way about this when I did these. The very first time when I was looking for recipes for what we were going to do, trying to find something, I was trying to be in a rush, and I put the powdered sugar on warm, and let's just say it was kind of a mess because
Okay,
powdered sugar heats up with everything else and kind of melts, and so then you really don't have powdered sugar on your cookies. So these cookies were baked earlier, like early today, and then I let them all cool. Again, you don't have to powder sugar them. You could dip them in 1/2 in chocolate. You could dip them and sprinkle them with sprinkles. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do. This is just the basic recipe for these cookies, and yeah, they're not very sweet. I mean, they're a little bit sweet, but they have a
Very
little
good with
almond
cup of
taste.
tea.
Yeah. So I think they're perfect. They're like coffee cookies. But I think you could do a lot of different things with the basic dough if you chose to, and you probably could do. I'm not a fan of walnuts, so I will never cook with walnuts. But you could probably use walnuts aside from almonds if you chose. You could probably use any really solid nut, walnuts, pecans, that kind of stuff. So that is our recipe for the New Moon cookies. Our little pieces of dough.
Very nice.
So,
It looks delicious.
I wish I could send it out to you in TV land. Brian will make sure that they're not poisoned.
Hey, maybe you could leave a couple of them for the oneg this Friday.
I'm welcome. You're welcome to have the whole container. I have a container. Like I said, I made about almost 60 cookies. So Brian tried them before I put the powdered sugar on, and then after I put the powdered sugar on, and that's just a little bit of difference,
just
but
a little sweeter.
a little bit sweeter. So
God, they're so
That was a little self-serving though, because me and Linda are the ones sponsoring the oneg this Friday.
well, as long as you can hide the container of them and keep them airtight for a couple days. So this cookie needs to be put in a container when it's done that's airtight. If not, it gets a little soggy. So and then we had them at least a week at my house, and they were still really good. So I would say that you're safe with that. So that is New Moon cookies. So the second recipe, we were talking about different recipes, Brian and I, and we really wanted to incorporate something that had apples in it. Of course, apples and honey for Rosh Hashanah. And I went back and forth about what kind of recipe we should do, and I just started playing around with stuff. And so we came up with our second recipe, which is phyllo wrapped apples that you bake till they're really crispy, and then you drizzle them with honey, and you can drizzle them with powdered sugar also. They are delicious, and Brian will attest to that one
Oh
also.
my God. I'm so glad I got here early.
So we're gonna move ourselves in the other direction. I have to just gather a couple of things here. Some of my measuring cups. I think we're okay with this one. That's everything. All right, we're gonna walk in this direction. So one of the things you need to purchase is phyllo dough. Phyllo dough comes in 2 packages, usually comes frozen. You want to get it defrosted. You want to wet a tea towel or something that's not fluffy. I keep these very flat, almost cotton, like sheets. You can take a piece of a sheet or pillowcase, and you want to kind of put that over the phyllo dough to keep that moist. And you want to lay your phyllo dough out, and then you want to keep it covered. So any kind of thing that you're doing with phyllo requires that. So we are, for this recipe, which is again the apple and honey phyllo, which Brian has the recipe online, we need our cinnamon, salt, a little bit of apple juice. We're putting a little bit of butter. We're using 5 apples. I think I picked up galas. We're going to put, we're going to peel and core all the apples. You definitely want to make this either that morning, a day ahead. You definitely don't want to be putting hot apples into phyllo dough to bake them. You want them cold. This recipe will bake for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden. So we're going to just take our apples, we're going to cut them off the core. We're going to chop our apples into small pieces. This can take anywhere from, 10 to 15 minutes. We can, we'll get it cooking, and then we'll talk about the phyllo.
This is where I need the ceiling cam.
I'm sorry?
I need the ceiling camera, that looks down on you.
Oh. Sorry, I'll pull the pan up. So I have a small pan right here. We're going to put all the apples into here. So on the recipe, you want to put the first 6 ingredients all the way through the 2 tablespoons of applesauce in the pan, apple juice, I'm sorry, in the pan. Okay. Got a 1/2 cup of sugar. You can make this sweeter. I tend to not, just because you're going to eventually have, to put powdered sugar on the outside of this. We're going to have 2 tablespoons of apple juice. Any kind of apple juice is fine. It could be sugar-free apple juice. It could be regular apple juice. Teaspoon of cinnamon. And so both these recipes can be drizzled or dipped in honey when we're done. Salt. Okay, so what we are going to do, and I forgot a spoon, I apologize, find a spoon here. We are gonna make Brian twist around again, because we are going to go to the stove. I'm gonna show you what this looks like there. Okay. We're so work today. Woo. So we're gonna just put this on the stove and we're gonna let this cook down. With the liquid and the apples cooking down and the sugar. Probably about 15 or 20 minutes. We'll keep an eye on that. Through the magic of TV. This is what they're gonna look like when we get done. So they'll be cooked down, they'll be nice and soft. You don't want them totally mush, you want them a little bit firm, but you want it cooked down enough so all of the apples are very, very soft so that you can, Whoops, it's okay, we'll clean up. All right, we're going back over here again.
I'm gonna move. Hang on a second.
So we're moving.
So I can get.
I know it's really hard over here. We apologize for. Okay, so we are going to clear space. Sorry, let me use this.
Yeah. Thank you. There we go. Sorry for that craziness there.
Okay. So what I've done I had done in this bowl was melt some butter. Now we have to remelt. It'll take about, you want to put about a half a stick to a whole stick of butter depending on how many you're making.
You can never have too much butter, right?
Never have too much butter. Well, wait till you see that the phyllo you have to paint it on. So this is fun for kids too. It just is a little bit like moms would definitely need to help with getting the phyllo apart without too much frustration level. I'm going to take the top piece off there. Sorry. I was having a lot of difficulty with this phyllo today. All right, so we're going to put a piece of phyllo down. Now, these are very tender, so and we're going to take a paintbrush. We're going to kind of just get phyllo painted along on here so the second piece will stick to it. Okay. So if you end up like this phyllo is cut in half, if you end up with a full sheet of phyllo, you definitely want to cut it into a smaller piece because it's too much phyllo to wrap. So we're going to take, are you able to see this here? We're going to take the apples. We're going to place them on the top of this here. We're going to start easily rolling this. Okay, I'm going to roll it about halfway and then I'm going to tuck my sides in. You don't want your apples falling out. And I keep tucking my sides in. I'm going to brush the bottom with a little bit of butter. And then I'm going to have them roll. And then you definitely, to seal everything in, you definitely want to put butter on the outside. So it is definitely a heavy butter recipe. I have used alternate butter for this and it does work. I have used like a non-dairy butter and there's no problem with doing this with that. So if somebody is, dairy intolerant, then, just try to use whatever you're able to use. Um, I haven't, because when you're working with phyllo, you really need the fat. You don't want, it's not the egg wash is usually for color. Like you're doing an egg wash to make your bread look brown. You're not, this phyllo is so dry, it needs the fat. So you could actually even put, I guess you could put lard on it if you,
Schmaltz.
yeah, schmaltz, but I don't know that I would like the savory chicken flavor with my apples. I think I might just decide not to do that. Again, we're going to tuck these in. You can use less phyllo, more phyllo. It just depends on how crunchy you want your packages to be. You could definitely do this the day before. If you were having a big party, you could take the phyllo and get everything done, and then put it in the, cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge, and bring it out and then bake it.
Hey, Robin, this recipe looks familiar. Did, I know you won the apple honey contest once, early on. Is this, do you remember if this is what you made?
No, I don't remember what I made. I've used this recipe before when I've done, like, I stuffed these with bananas and chocolate for an event. And so we did, like, we put whole bananas in here, and then like little pieces of chocolate and either like brown sugar or something like that with it. And that worked really, really well. But I don't know that I've done this for that. Oh, stir our apples. Our studio audience is helping out.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll keep doing this so these will go, I'm sorry, I'm moving for Brian. These will go on a sheet pan. Probably don't need to be too far apart. We're gonna bake these at 375 for about 15 minutes. And again, through the magic of TV, they're gonna look like this. So what we can do is you can serve them whole, you can serve them cut in half. You can drizzle them with a little bit of honey. I don't know that they really need any extra sweetness to them, but well, yeah. So the one thing with these, they do need to be made the evening you're going to serve them. They don't really last for a long period of time, maybe to the next day. They're definitely ones that should be served. You can let, these are cool. They don't have to be hot, but you could definitely serve them right out of the oven or later that evening. But I don't know that I'd hold these for too long. You could try in an airtight container, but again, the phyllo is definitely hygroscopic, so it will try and absorb whatever water's in the atmosphere and get kind of soggy. So, and then I will go grab our apples and let you see what they're doing. So what we're gonna be under here again. So what you're gonna see is that the apples are giving off a lot of liquid, and pretty much I keep cooking these till my liquid is absorbed. So the apples are soft, they're gonna turn brown.
God, that smells so good.
We don't have smell-o-vision, but if we did, Brian would tell you it's yummy. So there is, like I said, a really good bit of liquid in there. But don't fear, it will definitely absorb as we're cooking it down. So I don't know if we have questions from the audience.
No, everything looks great. I was just worried about the gluten stuff, but you already answered that
And
question.
unfortunately with
Yeah.
phyllo, I don't know that there's an alternative as a gluten-free item for that. I mean, there's so much gluten-free stuff out there. Probably somebody's
Yeah.
phyllo dough that's not. You could probably use puff pastry, but again, I don't know if you could find gluten-free for that. Um, I don't know what a good alternative for this one would be, but you certainly could cook the apples down, serve them over ice cream. You could serve them over, you could make a Jewish apple cake and put them on top. Cheesecake and put them on top. So I mean, there are things to do with cooked apples.
All right. Thank you. This was fun.
So what kind of apples did you use, Robin? I must have missed that.
I'm sorry.
What kind of apples do you like to use?
I would not use Granny Smith. I would definitely use a sweeter apple because I have not put in a lot of sweetener in it. So if you're going to use a tart apple, you'd probably have to up the amount of sugar. I've tried to limit that, so I will grab the apple bag. But
Okay, and then you just peel the apple, core it, and chop it?
whatever you choose, these are Pink Ladies. I just bought a bag of them. It takes 5 apples to make a batch, and then it makes, I think how many it makes. How many do we have in there? 5. Probably makes about 20 of them to eat. So, I would say that was enough to definitely give each person 1 or 2. Served with ice cream, they're delicious. Served by themselves, they're delicious.
Sounds good.
You could definitely add walnuts to it if you wanted to. I would wait to add the chopped nuts till the apples are totally cooked and cooled, then chop your nuts and then mix that in right before you're going to wrap them in the phyllo dough. If you were doing puff pastry, you could get the puff pastry circles and you could actually put the apples in the puff pastry circle and bake them, which would be a nice dessert also, and then top that with ice cream or chocolate. We have an ice cream theme going, sorry. But again, they're delicious. These are nice and crispy.
Can I take one?
2 raisins would be really good.
Can I take one?
I'm sorry.
Don't you
I'm
wish?
just trying to get one. That's it.
Yes.
I know. It looks like we can reach right in and grab one, right?
Well, we can try, but so the only thing with working with phyllo is it's a very tender dough. People tend to get frustrated with pulling one sheet apart. So just take your time, be brave. It's fun to work with phyllo. It's real crispy and yummy.
Super.
So I
That
don't know
was very good. You made it look easy.
what.
You made it look easy.
You did lots of practicing.
Yeah,
Not
I
me.
bet.
Robin's great. Yeah, you were really fun to watch.
Well, I wanted to try the recipes out so that the poor slaves at my house had to, be the guinea pigs and everything, but they liked them all. And we did try the phyllo dough with other things. Like we first tried with egg roll wrappers, which were too thick and they were fried. And my crew said they didn't really like the outside. We liked the phyllo, the baked phyllo. That seemed to be the general consensus of everybody, that the crispiness with the soft apples was really the best. But I'm sure there's a variety of things that you could do with the apple.
I want to be in your family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check our apples.
So I just was looking up, there's all kinds of gluten-free phyllo dough websites here.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, this is just something that's recently happened, and I'm not like completely intolerant, but I am sensitive to it. So it's fun.
Yeah. My sister's gluten-free. She's got a cajillion recipes.
There's a variety of really kind of fun recipes in this cookbook by Phyllis Glazer and Miriam Glazer. I've had, obviously, cooking at the synagogue. I have my share of Jewish cookbooks and with different recipes, but this one actually gives you recipes by holiday. So there's things for Yom Kippur, there's things for Rosh Hashanah, there's things for Sukkot, specific recipes to help you plan a meal in and around whatever holiday it is, which I really thought was interesting. Passover. So they have, rather than by recipe, they have by holiday. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, the Omer, Passover, Hanukkah, Tu B'Shvat, Purim. So it's kind of a fun cookbook. Somebody gave it to me, and I found a few really interesting recipes in there. Not all of them are great, and it could be the cook too. So some of them
No.
were, I don't know. Some of them weren't as great as I would have liked them.
Hey there, hi.
How do you?
Yeah. Well, and
You have a nice break. I guess you stay here a few days, right?
Yeah, yeah.
so, and I'm happy to.
Congratulations on the job.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Happy to.
I'm actually on a Zoom call.
Give me a ring, give me a call, or email me. I'm happy to go over the recipe with you. Nothing out of the ordinary with any of these recipes. They're all simple things that you should have, around your house, and you can try them once. I would try them once the way they're written, and then after that, you can change them around and do whatever you want with them.
All right, not everything.
Very good. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
All right,
That was
bye,
great.
you guys. Happy cooking.
Bye.
And
Take care.
try to put the recipes back in the chat. If not, I will post them soon.
Thanks, Brian. This was fun. Hey, Robin,
Yeah.
I hope to see you over the holidays.
Oh, what?
Say that again, Melissa. Sorry.
Yeah, I just hope to see Robin over the holidays.
I hope so. We're away most of August, but I should be back. Are we online still? Are we
Yeah,
live?
we're still on. It's okay.
So we've got a little bit of traveling going on in August, but hopefully I will see everybody. Well, I'll probably see everybody for Rosh Hashanah for dinner.
Okay,
As long as
perfect.
I'm having it. But aside from that, I will hope to see everybody during the High Holy Days.
Very
Sounds
good. All
Thanks.
right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Melissa. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
We're off to
Bye,
choir
Rob.
practice now.
Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There's no water. There's no water. Believe me, this is about the water we got. Somebody has to come in and reset it, and I don't even know where the well to reset it on. If you want to take some dough home, you can take that home, and I'll do that with you. I'll probably just I'll take my stuff home and clean it at home.
The recipes will be posted in the next newsletter. Thanks for joining us. And thank you, Robin.